what did you think of the new trailer? Oh, okay. Well, let's look at the new trailer. Let's do it. So this is the one that launched yesterday, and oh my god, it is so fucking good. You said you wanted it now, so now you're getting it out, bitches.
She slumbers and dreams.
Oh wait, they showed this at like the Xbox show? No way. Oh, that must have been like incredibly confusing. I didn't know that. Yeah, of course, if you saw this at the fucking Xbox show, you'd be like, shit, they're bringing WoW to Game Pass or something like that.
Oh, that makes perfect sense now.
I'm so glad that they're not.
Yeah, no, but
like, that would have been so odd. But I'm also really glad they showed this at the Xbox show. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool. That can only be good for WoW, right? That's why they released the Welcome to Azeroth bundle at the same time, obviously.
Of course.
Or coming to console, or just classic coming to console, because, you know, you got this, all the old trailers and stuff showing.
Yes.
Oh, that must have been so weird. Yeah. Anyway.
And for countless generations.
Yeah, there's a definite vibe of WoW 2 about the entire thing.
Have risen to defend her. They faced monsters, tyrants, and beasts of primordial horror.
Even the bit from Shadowlands looks good in it too.
Though they fought
It does.
amongst themselves.
Of course it does. Of course it looks good.
Their enmity following them to the most distant shores.
We will never be slaves!
And even across time and space. Their courage never faltered. Even upon the very threshold of death.
It was wise to only use that bit.
Yes, absolutely.
While new hope blooms on the horizon, the final battle draws near.
The graphics with the World Soul are incredible.
They look so
much.
good.
Now, in the darkness.
I love that swirling voidiness.
At the very
And then comes the good stuff.
Oh,
of the
yeah.
world. The drums of war.
And there's my girl, there she is. Look how awesome she looks.
Such a cool entrance.
That was good.
And as
Like the Harronir looking for
at last.
Oh my gosh,
Awaken.
so cool. Her little dances.
Yeah.
Is that
the world
Orwenya?
So
Well, people are saying it's Orwenya. I'm guessing it is, but
denied me.
I think she's got different hair, but I'm just gonna say it's
Shall
Orwenya.
be
Oh my god, look
mine.
at her. I love her.
So there's many things I want to say about this.
Yes.
The music, by the way, in it is fucking incredible.
Yes.
I'm a huge fan of the music. And like I wonder if that's going to kind of find its way into the soundtrack in any way. It's not as catchy as the Dragonflight music.
No.
I'm glad we're into that. What do we think about the date? Is it too soon? Oh, let's get onto that in a little bit. But we will. I love the whole kind of vibe of using all of the old trailers and things like that. Now, obviously, that's got something to do with it being the 20th anniversary.
Yeah.
It's got something to do, I think, with like the kind of reset that everyone is expecting at the end of the World Soul Saga. You know, much is being made of the fact that the World Soul Saga is going to kind of tie a ribbon on like the last 20 years of World of Warcraft lore and story and things like that. So it makes sense that we would kind of open it with a kind of a montage of literally every expansion leading up to this point. But what it does from a narrative point of view, obviously, is it positions Xal'atath as someone that has been there all along.
The whole time. Yeah, exactly. And she's talking about the world soul that's been kept from her for so long.
Well, exactly.
She feels so entitled to it.
Yeah, and
like,
it's beautiful.
what is that about?
And what that also kind of establishes is that her objective was always to get the world soul, which means like I think it's been said. I think Locust Walker says that she's not an old god, that she's something else. And assuming that to be true, because Locust Walker does appear to know exactly what she is. Assuming that's true, it does kind of add a little bit of mystique as to what Xal'atath actually is. So I would love it if Xal'atath was not actually like a void god. For me, it's much more interesting if because there are two options as far as I'm concerned. Either she's a void god and she's literally from the void, or she's actually a native of Azeroth. And she's just like one of the first natives of Azeroth that got really into the void during the Black Empire.
I see.
You know, and like rose through the ranks because of her dedication and mercilessness. And, you know, like I think that could be a really interesting twist, right? And so her objective and her aim, either way, has always been to help the old gods corrupt the world soul and to claim the world soul for the void, and that's always been her thing. Which does beg the question why she was put into the dagger, why N'Zoth never released her from the dagger earlier if they were working towards the same objectives and things like that. And you know, there's a really, really interesting story behind Xal'atath, and I'm really very much hoping that she gets one of those 2.5D animations.
Oh, I'm like she must. Like there absolutely has to be one for her.
Yeah, exactly. Because we know that there will be. We know that one of them is dedicated to Queen Ansarak and how she became Queen of the Nerubians, because it's in game and there's a bit in game which tells you it's going to show like this 2.5D cinematic, which suggests that they are cinematics that, you know, explore the past of some of the main characters. I'd be very surprised if Moira and Dagran didn't get one. You know, I'd be very surprised if Faerin didn't get one. Maybe Orwenya would get one too. But I just love the idea of Xal'atath getting one.
And like if Ashara got one, she has to have one.
Well, that's what I mean.
Like,
And the Ashara one was
so
such an absolute banger.
One of the best ones.
I'd love to see something like that for Xal'atath, but like, you know, showing her during the Black Empire. I guess they probably don't want to give away what she actually looked like during the Black Empire, because of course she's in a borrowed body now. And there's that thing of like, they probably want to reveal her true form. They probably want that to be a raid mechanic, right? And I get it.
And there's also something really interesting in the way that Xal'atath is like they being presented to us. Like it's always her, like just her looking usually at you, like the player, just looking straight on, like in every kind of little bit of marketing and stuff. She's just
she has the one expression, but it's such a good one.
Exactly, she has one face, and it's that smirk, and she's just like has her eyes on you.
Well, they're really leaning hard into her at the moment, and one of the reasons it works is obviously because she's a sexy elf lady who's really voidy and just like effortlessly cool. She's just a very cool character design. Her whole kind of they allow the story team to do what they couldn't do with Sylvanas. Like they wanted to do it with Sylvanas, like just make her an all-out baddie,
just a bamf,
and just really a campy, vampy baddie, right? Yeah, which they couldn't really do with Sylvanas because it had so much baggage, and you know she had to kind of turn out to be okay in the end in her own little way and stuff. And they can do it with Xal'atath. They can just like go full on. Let's just enjoy how bad she is. Let's enjoy how evil and scheming and mustache twirling she is. People used to talk about Sylvanas being portrayed as a mustache twirling villain, like it was a bad thing, because it kind of was, right? But it's a good thing with Xal'atath. It's just like a really cool thing.
It's perfect for her, and I love her look in this trailer. I love the look they've given her, and I have to give a shout out to Dark Lady Kira, the cosplayer, because I saw her tweet, which is like, oh my god, thank you. Like, you don't know what it means to see
to have this high-res version.
To have like a high-res version of her, but also have her looking like she is like a woman with strong features. Thank you for representing like women with noses and chins and shit. Like, no, really. I love her look, and I love her. Yeah, she just looks so bad and powerful and
helped enormously
love
by the
it.
fact that Claudia Christian, the voice actor,
yes.
is really fucking awesome at delivering these kind of monologues.
yeah, she's so good.
And these kind of voiceovers.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, her performance as Xal'atath now is noticeably different to her performance as Xal'atath when she was in the Dagger.
Mm-hmm.
To the extent that I actually did reach out and just double check with some people at Blizz that it was still her doing the voice, because it is and like she's 8 years older now than when she was doing the voice in Legion, right? So it makes sense. And also, like, her character is different. Her character has evolved and kind of, she's not a seductive voice in a Dagger.
No, she's not getting you to like luring you,
And so I've got no problem with it sounding, like a slightly different performance. It's still recognizable as her sort of thing. And Claudia Christensen is so good at this kind of thing that it's just like incredibly satisfying. So I wouldn't be surprised if she does a lot more of these as well. This is like the third one in a row that's had a Xal'atath voiceover, right?
So good.
Like in a week. It's really, really cool. My thinking is a little different on this. I'm kind of wondering if world souls are actually individuals, if they're basically items that are hunted down and claimed by celestial forces. Oh, well, my thinking on this. I think, we're going to have a video coming out that's been waiting to be made since the last raid in Dragonflight, where it's like, that raid pretty much told us that Azeroth isn't a Titan, and that I feel like it flat out told us that when we interviewed who did we interview in the
Maria?
Thank you.
Hamilton.
When we interviewed Maria Hamilton, she pretty much confirmed that in as many words. We were like, so the raid seems to be telling us that Azeroth isn't a Titan, are we to take that literally? And she's like, I can't answer that. And I was like, okay, great, so it's a yes. She's not a Titan. And like, I think there's a lot to talk about there, because if they're not Titans, what are they? And I've been saying for years, I think that world souls are they're unclaimed, maybe first ones, but they're not automatically Titans, and the Titans are just trying to do what everyone else is trying to do to them, like they're trying to claim the planet, they're trying to populate the planet, they're trying to put their own kind of whatever their version, their analog of old gods is, that's what they're doing. Like the old gods got to Azeroth and a bunch of old gods, and they built the Black Empire on it, and the old gods are trying to get down to the actual world soul itself. The Titans do the exact same thing, right? They get to a world soul and they cover it with Titan facilities, and they dig right into the ground, and they have machines affecting it and stuff like that. We now know that Elune and like the Life Realm do the exact same thing. They plant loads of world trees and stuff, and those roots go right down to the world soul as well. There's a really big Naru-looking crystal under the ground pointing towards the world soul, as if the lights at some point try to do the exact same thing, right?
Yeah.
Like everyone is fighting over this world soul, and it stands to reason that happens with every world soul, right? And that, everyone's trying to claim world souls for themselves, and the Pantheon is just made up of world souls that were successfully turned into Titans by Aman'Thul. That's my theory, right?
I like that.
Oh yeah, and the Fel, exactly. The Fel, when they arrive, they have loads of engines and stuff that kind of felonize a world, right? We've seen that with Argus, and at the moment we've got a massive fucking sword sticking out, right? Which Sargeras tried to thrust into the heart of the world soul. So yeah, it makes perfect sense. Everyone's trying to do the same thing, and the Titans tell us that world souls are Titans because of course they would. But I think it is like a race to claim the world souls. I've been saying this for a long time as well. Check out our video, What Happens When Azeroth is Born, if you want more of that. But we're gonna do that more in the build up. That's one of our videos that I've got written down to make before the launch of this game. So
nice.
I think the evidence is mounting up, and that will obviously inform what happens in like the Last Titan and stuff like that. So I think there's a lot to talk about there. It could be really cool.
So what's the deal with her orbs?
Yeah,
What's going
her
on with
orbs
those?
spinning around here.
That is so cool.
I get the feeling we will never see this happen in game.
Unless it's like a fight mechanic.
Oh,
Right.
You're
Like,
right.
you know,
Oh
that's
my
going to be
God.
the mechanic of the fight. Like her orbs start
Yeah,
spinning because
yeah,
before
totally.
they're just hovering over her shoulders, right? But this is so cool, and it just suggests like, you know, she is the center of like the cosmos, and like she is the center.
Everything
of, like,
is
her
literally
universe.
revolving around her. Hey, good critical analysis. there.
And
Put that one in the
thanks,
essay.
Howie. And I love the way the void lights. I don't know what you call the light that comes from the void orbs. You know, the way it casts like the shadows on her face. It gives her that spooky effect,
Yeah.
like when you have lights spinning around you that you can't really see your face in kind of clear definition because
Love
it
how
changes so
reflected in her
dramatically.
eyes as well.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's so
exactly.
cool.
Exactly. Yeah, it is so well done.
Trying to work out what her best lighting angle is, right?
Yeah, well, exactly, and that's
Yeah.
the thing. It does. Yeah, it's so good. I really love
Yeah.
this. She's so threatening.
So other things that I want to take from this trailer. I love the new kind of world soul footage we get with the void
Yeah.
kind of encroaching
Yes.
on it.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at the world soul just
Yeah.
real quick.
There it is.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah.
Could it be claimed that this blue aura around the world soul is somehow encasing it? Do you think? People are saying it might be kind of caged,
Could be.
and that this blue aura is kind of like restricting the golden light of the actual world soul. I'm not so sure. I think world soul is like blue and.
I
blue
think
and
it's
yellow,
it's
right?
just
Like,
Azerite
yeah,
flavor, right?
Totally. That's my thinking. But I love the images or these ones here. What's really interesting is obviously it makes it look cosmic and like this
Yes.
could be a scene that is happening in space kind of thing. This could be. I mean, this looks very much like when the Fel was encroaching on Azeroth in like at the end of Legion, right? And in the last fight of Legion.
This is like very Christopher Nolan.
Yeah, very much so. And I love that when it passes through the void cloud and you see the world soul shining through it, it looks like the Maw.
Ooh, yeah.
You know, like that is
Yeah,
like
it's a
that's the
little-
Maw
little
effect
flicker.
right there.
Yeah.
That's what it kind of looked like when you looked at it from Oribos. So it's kind
Yeah.
of calling to like different cosmic effects there, which I really like.
Mm-hmm.
But just this whole like these kind of, they're not tentacles, but the clouds look like tentacles, like evoking old gods. and
Encroaching
things, like
very
encroaching in.
slowly, yeah.
Really, really cool. Like showing the void kind of gaining influence and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And also is a an echo, like a callback of when we see Orwenya, or whoever this Harronir is,
So cool.
dancing
Her
and
move.
kind of
I love
creating,
it.
helping the roots of Allunir, the world tree,
Yeah.
to grow. It looks like she's using magic. I thought she was fighting these roots and they were corrupted at first, but I think she's using
she's
whatever
kind of-
magic she has to help them grow.
Yeah, it's what it looks like to me. Yeah, she's
Yeah,
kind of
yeah, totally.
encouraging them out. Yeah.
So these roots do definitely kind of echo the voidy
Oh, yes.
kind of rooty tentacle things that then
Yes.
happen in this shot here, which I really like as well.
Yeah.
And the void smoke does look like what N'Zoth looked like in the Ashara cinematic at the end of that fight as well. Quite right, exactly. So yeah, and it looks like a ritual dance
Yes.
with the Harronir as well. So yeah, my thinking is that this is magic and she's helping the roots grow, and which she's doing the job of the life realm there, right? She's helping those world soul roots grow. And they're going for the world soul as well. Let's be real. Everyone's after this. And that brings us to the races that we see
Yes.
in this cinematic as well, because we get the Earthen, and
Which
in
actually
fairness,
looks pretty
the Earthen
cool.
looks very cool here,
He does.
and that's nice, isn't it? Because they're the new playable race in the War Within. Did you remember that?
Oh, no, I think so.
Had you
Thank
forgotten
you for
that?
the reminder. I just like how his mustache and hair look kind of like spaghetti. Like he's made like rock spaghetti.
I think it looks like kind of like toilet brush material.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
like really
just like
thick
kind of
bristles.
synthetic,
Yeah.
bristles that you'd use to clean the toilet.
But it
and I
looks
think that's
super
lovely.
cool.
But isn't that nice? Look, the playable race, the new playable race in this game get 150.
Copper wire. That's nice. Yeah, I like that.
I can't. They get 150.
At the very heart of the world.
5 seconds.
All right. You determining screen time.
Yeah, they get about 6.5 seconds in this entire trailer. Unlike the Arathi,
Oh my god, yes.
who get
So good.
The drums of war thunder once again.
Yeah.
I mean, if you count the airship, even more. But
Yeah.
And as
yeah, they get about 10 seconds. Basically, everyone gets more. Like both the Arathi and the Harronir get more screen time than the Earthen, which
That's
is
fine.
understandable because the Earthen aren't very exciting, really. I think we've all agreed. I like them. Hey, I like them just fine, except their stupid voices. I hate them.
Yeah.
But I like the Earthen just fine. But it is interesting that the Arathi and the Harronir, you know, in what I would describe is the Harronir in particular is very reminiscent of when we saw the Drakthir in the equivalent in the equivalent trailer for Dragonflight. Remember the Dragonflight trailer with where they were flying on dragons and Razageth was like with her penguin teeth and then you saw like Emberthor kind of doing all like, you know, evoker spells and shit like that. This is probably the most reminiscent of that bit of that trailer is the Harronir here kind of doing spells and stuff, right? And kind of troll dancing. People are saying that because there's such an emphasis on, okay, not the Arathi as a whole, mostly just Faerin.
Yeah.
But, you know, then you got the airship and then you got like all the Harronir stuff and then you got like an Arathi kind of logo and then you got like, you know, her doing her shield and stuff, her cool prosthetic shield. Then you got this like really awesome close up of, we think it's Orwenya, kind of doing her stuff.
Yeah.
And all of that is kind of intertwined with the earthen stuff. Is that just an example of people that live underground, which is where we're going? Or is this basically saying that the Harronir and the Arathi are going to be playable races?
Oh.
Because they are literally presented alongside the new playable race and in the same way as part of like the same montage, right?
They are. Okay, maybe. It could be.
That's pretty non-committal.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it could be. I mean, you know what? Yes, I'm going to say yes.
Good, thank you. Get off that fence.
You shoved me off the fence.
Put
No,
your
it's
neck on
good.
the line.
I'm going to put my cards down on the table or something.
Let's mix up these metaphors.
Yeah.
Let's just like, yeah.
I've never been great at metaphors. But yeah, so yes, I'm gonna roll with it. I'm gonna say yeah, I can see some new playable races here.
Yeah, but aren't the Arathi just humans with elf ears? Yes. So I think the Arathi are more likely to be customizations for humans and for high elves than or for blood elves, I guess. Than, you know, distinct playable races by themselves. But I would imagine that the Harronir will be legit playable race, and whether it's just for the Horde or maybe just for the Alliance, who knows? And like, yeah, I mean, who knows? But I would expect the Harronir to be full on allied races. It certainly seems like that from their model data and what have you.
They're super cool. Aren't
Yeah,
they?
I'd be very surprised if we didn't unlock the kind of pointy half elf ears customizations or the small ear customizations for blood elves.
Yeah. And we know that's coming, don't we? Because that's been data mined.
It's been data mined that it's there, but we've got no way of knowing how it, or if it's going to be awarded to players.
Sure.
I would be amazed, like literally amazed, if it didn't get awarded to players.
Yeah.
You know, and for me, the big question about that is, you know, when Arator makes his big reappearance, you know, the son of Taliesin and Alleria, when he turns up, what model is he going to use? Because he is a half elf, and they've never been able to like portray half elves in the game before, so they've just used that blood elf model.
Yeah.
Will they just keep that model, or will they give him a new unique model? You'd have thought they're holding out for Midnight for that one, right? Because he's going to be a major character in Midnight, you'd imagine.
Yeah,
it just makes sense.
Maybe.
Will they? My thinking is they'll probably keep the blood elf model, but maybe give him smaller, more human ears. I don't know. That would seem to be the most consistent. If they change the model at all,
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Well, yeah, we shall see. Maybe he'll just be like his dad, just be a chunky big man.
You forget how hot Taliesin is.
I never forget how hot Taliesin
he
is.
So hot.
I never forget. I
It's
mean, he's
insane. I had
a bit of a
forgotten.
weirdo, but
he crops up in the end game questing in the War Within, and I had forgotten how hot he is. Honestly, like I really, really had. And then I had to go and get footage of starting the Dragonflight quest again for that video for Blizz, and it is noticeable how hot he is, and I had forgotten how hot he is. It's outrageous. It's so dumb. Yeah. The Harronir is, I reckon, nailed on to be an allied race, and I'd be very, very surprised if we didn't get like the half elfen customizations as well. Certain parts of the internet have gone have reacted to these shots of Faerin in the exact way that you'd imagine Evitel.
Oh,
we don't need to dwell on that.
no, we don't,
But
because she
people
looks
are basic
absolutely
fucking
badass.
idiots. Yeah,
I love her, like where she's got her missing arm. That's kind of like metal cup that she's got on the end of it. Like
it's really cool.
Yeah,
she just looks awesome. She's just very,
she
very
has
cool.
Such a super cool look. Her ears look amazing.
Yeah, and they give her like a very cool entrance here as well.
Yeah, love that.
To be
Stepping. What does it mean, Tally? Stepping out of the darkness, still in a dark room, but into a patch.
Into the light.
Stepping into a patch of light.
Yeah. She is the patch of light in the darkness. Right?
Yeah, she is.
You know, we know that she has lots of scenes
the
with
torchbearer, right?
With Anduin in the story,
Lamplighters.
where she's a lamplighter, right?
Yeah.
She does literally bring light to the darkness.
Yeah.
But also metaphorically, I believe that she'll help to bring the light back into the darkness that is Anduin or something like that.
She gonna teach him the light again? Is that the
or just help him find his own way.
Yeah. Oh yes, of course.
Stepping out of the shadows to leave. Yeah, that could be it too. One thing I do like is how much time they give all of that friendship and stuff in the questing. Because in the leveling questing, you always feel like relationships like that can be a bit rushed, and it was like, oh, okay, well, she's gonna help Anduin find his way and what have you. But they really take their time. There's one bit in the questing where they just stop in a tavern and just have a little kind of almost like a Final Fantasy 14 eating burgers or campsite scene, right? Where they just sit down and talk in the tavern for a bit, which is really nice. There's another bit in the endgame questing where she teaches Anduin how to play like this board game.
Nice.
Which is really cool, and they both have a stay a while and listen each that you can kind of sit and listen to there, where you're questioning them about their past and where they're at now and stuff like that. So they're putting in a lot of kind of effort into establishing the background of Faerin. I think almost certainly she'll be one of the 2.5D animations as well.
Absolutely.
Kind of leading into it too.
100%.
Because she's just cool. She looks cool. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. And obviously, because this is the way our brains work, right? You go, oh, right, she's obviously going to marry Anduin then. Because any female character, it can only exist, if of a certain age, and if they come into contact with Anduin. Of
course.
They only exist to provide for Anduin a queen
and
a womb.
Yeah,
exactly.
And there's something about her that just makes me think of the Diablo cinematics. Like she has that Diablo like vibe about her.
Yeah.
Like she has that kind of like dangerous, like high res Diablo look, which I really like.
Well, do you know what? Like, it sounds terrible, but I think one of the reasons for that, you are right. Like, the high res cinematics in WoW are getting so much cooler.
Yeah.
And she's got that very kind of crusadery look to her, which is reminiscent of Diablo as well.
Absolutely.
But honestly, part of the reason for that is because WoW just never really has non-white humans in their cinematics.
No, yeah.
Like, so
No,
like
exactly.
someone who crops up in a cinematic who's like a human but not white,
Yeah.
you go, oh, that's a bit like Diablo, because they have done that before.
That's fair. That's
literally it,
that's
right?
a fair point. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's one of the other reasons why it's reminiscent. But
Yeah.
the Crusader gear and like the fact that these cinematics are getting more high res and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Absolutely.
She'll need a cool cinematic showing her in action, otherwise there's a lot of effort for a static quest giver. Yeah, I mean, we do go like adventuring with her as well. Oh yeah, and don't forget that her and Anduin are related
Oh, somewhere on the tree.
2,000 years down the line. Like 2,000 years ago, they shared a common ancestor,
Okay.
like basically everyone on Earth.
Yeah. I was gonna say like us. That's why we look like siblings.
Yeah, totally. But I'm sure there's not really many people in the world that I'm not related to. If we go
this
back
stage that far.
2,500 years,
Exactly.
So yeah, to emulate the like European royals,
Yes.
they're gonna have to like, those are rookie numbers. You have to get that within a couple of generations to emulate European royals. No, they're gonna have to try a lot harder than that, right?
Yeah, that's why you call everyone in chat fam.
Yeah, exactly, because somewhere along the line we are, right? Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. So she looks super cool. What else? What last thing?
Harronir, do you like that?
A Harronir look. I mean, this Harronir looks insane. I love her.
Some
I
good
love
like
this
dancing
move.
vibes here.
Like it's such a good, so evocative. Like, and I love watching this and thinking about how the animation team would have set this up, like what they would have referenced, like what they would have drawn from to get an amazing dancer in to do something that evokes kind of like a ritualistic underground dance, and like love it.
Yeah, really, really cool.
Yeah.
But the way it sets up Xal'atath as being like, it's funny. I get much more of a sense that Xal'atath has been here forever, trying to get the world soul, but not being able to. I get that from this trailer more than I ever got that the jailer had his fingers in all those pies the whole time.
Well, I think there are reasons for that.
But I feel I'm already more on board with, and more understanding of, and more kind of on her side, not on her side, but like accepting of the narrative that she's just like, she's always been there sort of thing, but not influential really.
No.
We know where she's been in a dagger, and we know what the dagger got up to, and some of the things that dagger got up to, and some of the people it influenced and things like that. But I just buy her as a long-term villain that's been there and watched all of this stuff. Way more than I ever got with the jailer.
Absolutely. And having her be the narrator for this makes perfect sense. And it totally just gives you that sense. It's really good. Okay, Tally, you can ask me one more thing before I have to go and finish my work and retrieve the children.
Oh, right. Okay. Anything?
Well, I thought it was going to be cinematic related, but it doesn't have to be.
No, it's all good. I guess I'll ask you, what should we do for dinner?